Yeah, I will take it in English. I'm from Denmark, so some of you might not understand me. Language can be difficult, and my co-speaker Jussi from Sweden will talk more about that later. So I'm responsible for the big data solutions area in IBM in the Nordics, and I'm a little older than some of you. So when I came out in the private sector, start working, there were no emails, there were typewriters, and there was a desk phone. And if I should send mail to the stock or to procurement or somebody else, I could put that piece of paper into a pipe, push a button, and it would say, and then pling down at the stock, and they can pick it up. Whoa! Some goods are coming soon. Now we live in a world where everything, as we heard about Internet of Things, everything is interconnected, integrated and intelligent, and working very much differently. So, as we say, the world is getting smaller. Oh, that is my, yeah, this is the pipe and the typewriter. But this is the old slides. Anyway, all this, what is happening around social media, Internet of Things, and so on, is generating so much information and data. And it's extremely difficult for business leaders to actually get hold of this, analyze it, and act upon it, and integrate it into the business processes to actually get any value out of it. So big data is not about volume and how we store it. It's actually about the insight in that information and how we use it. This is some statements from some of our CEO, CFO, and CIO studies that we do. That 1 out of 3 business leaders, they do not believe they have access to the information they need to make business decisions, or they don't even have it. So it is extremely difficult. 80% of all this information is expected to be unstructured, which could be text, audio, video, social media, and stuff like that, which doesn't naturally fit into the existing warehouse of a company, and therefore it's extremely difficult to handle. From our latest CMO study, Chief Marketing Officer study, the data explosion was one of the top issues that would impact the marketing organization in the next 3 to 5 years. Analyzing this information, getting closer to the clients and stuff like that, using all this data explosion was a very, very top issue. And that might hopefully relate to some of you as well. So what is all this big data, as we call it, where is it coming from? It is coming from all the areas that you have heard about the past 2 days here. And this might even be old statements here that Twitter is generating more than 12 terabytes of tweets every day. Facebook more than 25 terabytes. Google we don't even know, but it is much. And on top of that, all the Internet of Things that we have everywhere that Dario was talking about before. And this is just all these kind of components that we live in today. On top of this, we have all the internal transactional systems, CRM and other stuff inside the company that hold other kind of information in a very different kind of format. So the issue here is to actually work with these many kind of sources, formats, and so on. Another thing is that a lot of this information is being generated in real time. It might only have value now. It might not have value in 10 minutes or in 2 days when we finally get it into the warehouse, if we can get it into the warehouse at all, and therefore it's lost. So the speed information is being generated with is also difficult to handle. So if we look at the data that is available for us today, for companies, for healthcare, for law enforcement, whatever we talk about, it's increasing heavily, but our capability and how we can actually leverage this information is almost flat. So there will be an increasing gap between these two things, and we could say that will we get dumber based on that, because there's a big blind spot and gray area and gap in this. But also this represents a huge opportunity for companies that can actually go in and leverage all this kind of useful and valuable information that has been generated by social media, Internet of Things, and so on. So what is big data? We define it, therefore, with the 3 V's, variety, velocity, and volume. Variety is all these different kind of sources and formats that we work with a huge degree of unstructured information that is difficult to handle. The velocity of data being generated in real time everywhere, and the volume that is increasing so much that also from a cost perspective, it can be difficult for organizations to handle. So therefore, the big data platform that many companies are looking for today that can actually handle these 3 V's, and we can also apply the 3 A's on top, all data, analyze this data and act upon it. Because if we cannot get it into some valuable insight and be able to integrate it into our business process and use it, then it's worth nothing. So I will not take you through a long, exhausting presentation of our big data platform, but the technology is there today. Yeah, I will skip that slide. So if we could take all these kind of information and data being generated in real time, in near real time, that we already have in our departments today, in our siloed organizations, in many different kind of databases, from all the sensors sensing and generating information, we might see a much, much different insight. Sometimes we talk about taking a puzzle of 1,000 bricks. Today, organizations might have a small picture using some of the bricks to make their business decisions on. But imagine if we could take all the other pieces and put it together, we might see a total different picture to make decisions on. So it could be within fraud detection in banks, insurance companies, in law enforcement and stuff like that. And the thing that you are also concerned about is getting closer to the customer. Not only serving a market, but actually knowing the individual itself and what the individual is talking about and would like to buy and stuff like that. And then predict and act upon it. I will take you briefly through some of the cases here. Yeah. So I have picked a Nordic company like Vestas, and from a volume and also from a source perspective, they used the big data platform to analyze the weather around the globe in 4 kilometers height down to 10 by 10 kilometer grid to understand 200 parameters of weather and actually from a business case perspective where to place the wind turbine for the biggest outcome and guarantee a higher energy output than the competitors can do. So they are using it for that, and there's also sensors in turbine heads and so on, sensing weather information. Interesting enough, a lot of other organizations in other branches would like to subscribe to Vestas weather library. It could be within shipping or other areas that could actually use this information. So, as an old man said, information is power. Catalina Marketing also use this. They are actually having a history of 250,000 or million, customers from 20,000 different kind of stores 3 years back, knowing what they have bought. So when clients are going in and shopping, when they go out and pay, they will get a coupon specialized for this individual. Not buy some cat food next week. I have a dog, so I don't bother. But actually something that is personalized. This is being done not in 4 hours, as it used to be in the warehouse, but in 60 seconds, so while the client is still there. It could be another example. From an Internet of Things perspective, at Ontario University, where premature children can easily get infections and so on, and it's very, very difficult to monitor all these kind of sensors and so on, streaming in all the time, and the child could die in between. So they are sensing and streaming information as it flows in to actually prevent these things from happening. We have KTH in Sweden using GPS and taxis to monitor traffic in real time also. I will hurry up and skip this one. So going even further, in 2015, it's estimated that 80% of all this information we have is actually uncertain. Today, we would like to do some quality check on it. We would like to model it and put it into some structured format. But it is generated so fast, it's generated from many different kind of sources that have some uncertainty in of it. So we need to work and understand how we can actually work with this and take some trends and maybe take some decisions based on a certain probability. So this will come next. So we will then, in the future, talk about the 3 V's, where the uncertainty will come on top within the big data area. That was Watson. And there's a lot of material to read about that. So
I'm getting closer.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so think big. That is our slogan.
And we will continue the discussion with you.
Yeah.
Vi kommer ta det här på svenska dessutom, för du är ju dansk så du förstår ju svenska väl, va?
Ja, ja.
Ja. Och, men innan du får den stora applåden och någon sorts present utav mig, så ska vi släppa in Juri Karlgren, förlåt, Juri Karlgren från Gavagai, ett av de spännande startupbolagen i den här världen. Så kan väl du, Flemming, hjälpa mig att reda ut de här frågorna lite grann efteråt.